Hey there, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. You're reading your Seeker, I see.
Well, I'm just checking out the beautiful issue that seemed to have flown off the shelves,
Oh
like
my gosh,
we
it's
were
like
saying.
insane.
Yeah, it was a really nice issue with lots of women's stories. Actually, I've got it upside down because that's the way it is. But what a great issue! You put lots of great stories in there, Chicky.
I know there was like some 29 featured women, like everyday women. It was a really cool issue to put together. It was really nice to read all the stories as I was putting them in, and yeah. So I would say pick up your issues, but it's pretty much all
Um,
gone.
I think there might be four left in the distribution box. Might be because when I
I
went
have
by last time, there was
three.
four.
I have three in my rack here, but I gotta keep some. So yeah,
I
I'll keep
I
those for
know.
myself.
I just
Yeah, it was a really really nice issue, and now we're working on the April issue, which is all about spring
spring
cleaning
cleaning
and
and
green
green
living.
living. Yeah, spring
Yeah,
cleaning and clean living. So if you have any services or businesses related to those two topics, then please let us know because we're going to print this weekend coming up.
yep.
So
And
if you
speaking of
if
green living, this
yes,
weekend you were busy, and I was too, but you were even more busy. You went and spent some time. I just did a quick tour, but you went to uh, transition into spring event, right? That
which
was at the
was
Benson Center, and you took a whole bunch of
yeah.
pictures. So I'm going to be talking about this a little bit. We're going to be talking about what happened last week in Cornwall and in the news. It was spring break, so I took a little break. Went to Montreal, visited the Biodome, which is another green thing to do.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really interesting, and I'll have a story about it in the April Seeker about the biodome and why you should visit. It's super interesting.
I've never been there. Maybe it's something I should look into.
Oh,
Biodome.
when your grandbabies come
Mm-hmm. That
in the
would be
summer,
something.
you should go
Yeah.
to the biodome. Yeah, take them to the biodome. It's really 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 nice.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
a great idea.
uh-huh. So here are the pictures that my took at the event. There was a how many vendors?
There was, oh boy, I put it there. I think there was 27 vendors, but over 1,000 people went through it. It was open from 10:30 to 2. There's Kat Rendeck and John Ta- John Towndale.
Sandro.
Towndale. Jesus, I can't even think today. I'm tired too. Yeah, they're one of the main event organizers. What a great event, though. This it was so nice. You could walk in there. Now, formerly it was called CD Saturday for those who don't know this event. I still have to keep saying CD Saturday. I love that. But they changed it because before when it started, it was, seed growers and seed, exchange and things like that. It was more about seeds, but now they've expanded it to all kinds of different activities and recycling tips and just
I
there was
saw that.
so
Like I
much.
saw even there were like uh trading tables where you could
Yeah,
just like trade your old kitchen things
yeah,
that
they
and
they,
pick
they
another one.
yeah, trading books. Of course, I did grab a book up with my favorite subject, Christmas.
Oh God.
I know, I had to. I saw it there and I don't need any more Christmas books, but anything that says Christmas, I have to have it. So I grabbed that. But yeah, there was all kinds of kitchen stuff, seat swap tables. But they wanted people to realize, and I don't think a lot of people did, you don't have to bring something to swap it. You could actually just
Okay.
take it. And
Okay.
I think people were under the impression that they had to bring something, put it on the table in order to take something else. So
Mm-hmm.
because it was new, they've kind of got to rebrand it as, I think, kitchen giveaway table, things
Swap
like that.
table. It's right here. Kitchen swap table.
Yeah, because people thought it was a swap, but it's really a giveaway. So,
Okay.
but what a
Oh.
great idea. Like, I mean, if you've got all this stuff that's laying around, just bring it, you know.
Yeah,
somebody else can use it.
yeah, absolutely. And there was a lot of like activities for kids to do. There was even like I saw a table where they could make their own like snack. Like they had like a bunch of crackers and gummy worms and like all earthy tea theme, I guess, where crushed Oreos were for the earth, and then they had like little marshmallows and gummy worms and yeah. Anyways, it was
Well,
super interesting, really cool. My
you can,
son and I went and we just walked really quickly. Uh, he had a problem with the smell. He has a thing with smells. There was one of the tables that was, I think they were making a bird feeder or
yes.
something. Like
Yeah.
they sorts of seeds, but it was really smelly. So
Oh,
we went by really quickly. You wanted to get out, unfortunately, but you spent a lot of time, so that's good, and
well,
probably with your
I
kids.
wanted to spend more time, but I forgot that we did a St. Patrick's Day stag on Friday
Oh,
night out in
oh,
Finch. So basically, by the time I got to bed, it was like 3:34 Saturday morning. It,
yeah,
and this booth was pretty well sold out. That's why it looks so sparse.
yeah.
Because I ended up getting there. It was around 12:30. I wanted to be there early, but I can't run on only a couple of hours of sleep anymore. It's just too much for me. So, but I spent a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours there. So it was really nice.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Very good.
But
Anyway,
I managed to get around all the vendors. I'm pretty sure I got everybody. So
it looks like it. Like there's a whole section upstairs that I haven't seen. I didn't even go upstairs. I thought it
oh,
was
you
just
didn't?
downstairs. No,
That's
I did
my
not.
that's my old boss, Mark Ladisser from Astro. I ran
Uh
into
huh.
him. He's retired now, so he's got lots of time to work with Transition Cornwall Plus.
Yeah, and nice leafy shirts I see.
Yeah, yeah. It was very nice. But it was just nice because it was, I think, the first year back in person
Uh
before it was
huh.
on online. So it was just nice to see people. I had to laugh. You got to wait. Leave this one here for a minute.
Uh
So
huh.
this girl, this was the best smile she got. Like it was so funny because her smiles were
Oh,
like she was. So the mom kept like 6 times we tried to get, and this was the best smile. She was trying so hard, but it was the first few looked like she was going to bite somebody. But I was laughing
smiley.
so. I know, but it was so cute. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny. The little guy, his smile was consistent. Yeah, they
Oh,
even had,
Chantal.
yeah, the crazy knitters. There was everything. There was all kinds of activities and things you can do.
That was cool.
So here's Neil
Yeah,
McMillan, one of our
yeah.
writers, and these guys are from Akwesasne, and they are young farmers. So I guess like
Okay.
he's going to be doing a story on them because
Mm-hmm.
they do some really traditional farming. There's Lee with his seeds,
Nice.
always smiling. Pitt Street,
Microgreens. Oh, I
yeah,
love those. Oh man, I should have gone upstairs.
yeah, it was nice. That's
I
Pitt
didn't even
Street.
know. Like I would have
Well,
loved
that's
microgreens.
Pitt Street Garden, Julia. That's right on
Mm-hmm.
Pitt Street. Have you ever been
I
there?
know. I have not been there, but we talked about it at one of our action community action talks.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause and we
Oh,
did
and this one, I've got to tell you about this. So Doug has started something new. So he goes around, he makes this little contraption. It's a pot with concrete and a broomstick, and he has them at all the gas stations. So anybody that has got the washer fluid empty bottle puts it on there. Then he goes around and picks them all up and uses them. Actually, I've got one in the car for his plant food. He fills it so it's not recycled, it's actually reused.
yeah.
So I don't know. Go to the next one because I don't know if, oh, no,
No.
go back one. Oh, shoot. I didn't put his whole thing because I thought I had a container. Like she's got it in her hand, she's got the container
Yeah.
and he's reused it and he's filled it. What a great idea.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is a great idea. All right. Well, we did another thing. So yeah,
Oh,
we did a few more things.
Yeah, this girl, I was walking out and she had her tray and she has a greenhouse. She's all excited to start planting her seeds.
Okay. Well,
And that's
anyways, for
Carol.
more pictures, you can go to our Facebook page because I don't want to spend the whole hour talking about
That
this
was your
one.
last picture.
Um, oh, okay. So, anyways, you can see the pictures on the Seeker Facebook page. So go and check it out. So, another place where there were seeds yesterday and plants was the Cornwall Arts Hall of Fame
Mm-hmm.
dinner. It was a
Yes.
fundraiser dinner yesterday that we both attended, and Rose Desnoyers spoke and talked about the new art center, and I'll just play the video.
Yeah, great news.
Let me know if you hear. Is the sound there?
No, her mouth is moving. No
You
sound.
don't hear the sound. Okay, let me just redo this.
No,
I'll
now I
stop the
don't even see the
screen.
video. You took it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna redo it. Share screen, share audio. This one, share. Okay, you should hear it now.
Bonsoir. I bring good news. The arts will finally have a home in Cornwall. On February 27, 2023, the Council of the City of Cornwall voted to accept the tender by Lorrain and Company from Nepean, Ontario, at the total bid price of $10.4 million being the best bid, meeting the specifications. That means that construction of the Art Center at 159 Pitt Street, the former Bank of Montreal, will begin.
Yep. So the construction will begin finally after so many years. I remember you and I think it was in 2012 that we
Yeah.
did the first fundraiser before they even had a bank account to start collecting
Yep.
funds. We did the first fundraiser with the Seekers Choice Awards and collected $2,500 for them, and that was the very first donation they've ever gotten. So it's been a project that was near and dear to our hearts, and it's finally coming to fruition. So it's nice to see that they're starting construction.
Oh yeah, I remember that presentation too at the library, just like it was yesterday. That was
Yeah,
nice. It was nice.
yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of debate always, because the arts, they always take a back seat. It feels like money is never really funneled to the arts because it's like, sports is all, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
go, 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 sports. And then artists don't have a home and a place to grow. So I think it's really important that finally we get an art center, and people don't seem to understand that it completes the picture for Cornwall.
Yep.
It kind of makes it this much more appealing city to come to live to if you have children that are like artistic and not so sportive. Now
Yeah.
they have a place where they'll be able um, to grow. So
Yeah.
and learn their art and be immersed. So it's really great to see. So
Because
that
I
was
mean,
another thing we did.
yeah, because I mean, art is, sport is one thing, but art is for the soul. Like, I mean, to me, if I have a stressful day, there's nothing better than walking through the Klein House gallery and kind of just calming down and
Oh, but
just,
it's further than that, Miley's. Like art is everywhere, really. You listen to
oh, it
music,
is.
that's art. You watch a show on TV, that's like
Yeah, it is.
art. Like it is like everywhere you turn, there is art. Yet, we kind of neglect it and not, make it
Well,
a priority. And it needs to be a priority.
well, you go to
Well,
the
and now it
grocery
will be.
store and you see shelves full of graphic design art on the
That's
packages.
yeah,
So
That's
it's
art.
everywhere.
Websites are art. Like everything is art. Like,
It is.
you know.
It is.
Anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna play a little clip about is it's a little long. It's a little longer. It's a 3 minute clip, but this happened yesterday at the Benson Center as well. Seems like the Benson Center is the hub and the heart of our community these days.
Yep.
Um, so we had this. There was a meeting from the Ontario Health Coalition. So if you're not familiar with the Ontario Health Coalition, they are an organization who are lobbying and advocating for our healthcare system to remain public. Um, they do a lot more than that, but right now the pressing issue is that
Hmm.
the government is trying to slowly privatize some aspects of our healthcare system, and they are um, lobbying against that. And there will be a province-wide referendum that's going to be held on May 26th and 27th.
Hmm.
And I will just let Louise Longto talk about it.
Perfect.
A referendum, a province-wide referendum. Every community in Ontario we are hoping will come. So we have started here organizing, and we've just started, and we've had very good response from a lot of groups. So our goal throughout the province is 1 million votes. So we feel that when Elaine and I go and bring our thousands of votes from this area and all the other areas bring their thousands of votes to Queen's Park on the 31st of May, that they have to pay attention and they have to say, okay, we're not on the right track here. The people of Ontario do not want this, we cannot continue with it. As Elaine said, once a practice is established, it's very hard to change it and go back. We all know the promises of temporary taxes, right? They never come off. So the same thing will happen here. So we have to work now, and we have to get everyone together. So the plan is to have a referendum with a vote, the same way as you would vote for government. You'll get a paper ballot, you mark it off, and you fold it over and put it in the box. And all of those will be counted in Cornwall, and then the count will go to Toronto. But the ballots will also, the physical ballots will be brought by Elaine and me to Toronto. So we're going to need a lot of volunteers in our area to do this. We need people that will sit at the tables and take the votes. So all that entails is people will just sign a sheet saying, this is my name and my postal code, I'm only voting once.
Oh, I knew there was something coming up, but I didn't realize it was just like when you go voting.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like there hasn't been, for some reason, there hasn't been a lot of media coverage about it.
No.
There hasn't been, like, people don't quite know what's happening really. We've
Yep.
heard of, there's been a hospital, I'm not quite sure where, but you know how a lot of the hospitals had to kind of close their ERs at some
Yep.
point because of staffing issues, and
Yep.
we don't have like nurses or doctors to be there. So what's been happening, like, I'm not quite, I don't remember where in Ontario. I thought it was on in Eastern Ontario, but I'm not quite sure where.
Mhm.
What happened is this hospital had to close their ER because they were not staffed. And then
Mhm.
what happened is that a private organization rented the ER on the weekend. Like they closed their ER for
Oh.
the weekend, and then a private sector comes in, rented that their ORs for the weekend, and then does private procedures that
Yep.
they charge the people for. But then the OHIP is paying for the rental of the ORs, and
Yep.
they reimburse these people, these private organizations. So our public tax dollars for the OIP is going to a private sector who is actually charging for the procedures. So, it's starting to happen. And if we don't, um, mobilize and start to tell the government we don't want this, if we don't go to Nolan Quinn's office and say, hey, and Eric Duncan and say, hey, you got to represent me. You got to represent everyone, and I do not want this, and a lot of people in my community don't want this. They will have to take a stand and go and represent us on at the different level of government. But we know healthcare is provincial mainly, and you know, but
But
uh,
but no, you're right, because even yesterday when we were at the fundraiser event at the table, there was a few people that they just figured, oh well, nothing's going to change. OHIP will still pay for everything. It's
yeah, no, OHIP is going to pay for everything, and they're adopting the stance that, you know what, if you got to charge for this so I can have that, like, I'm okay with that. But
yeah,
it starts with, you just charge for certain things, and then, and personally, anyways, we'll talk to Jason is here today to talk with us about mental health, but we'll ask him what he thinks about that, because
yeah,
he's in that kind of field, right? But I think that the solution is not to privatize. So, we already don't have enough doctors, don't have enough nurses. If you privatize, those doctors and
yep,
those nurses are going to go to the private sector because it's going to pay
yep,
better. And then it's just
yep,
going to become as, you know, a fight for who gets paid more. Like, we've seen it in the States. It's got some, like, the private sector might have some, like, I'm sure, like, everything has a good and a bad side, right? So the private
yep,
sector probably has, like, but I know for a fact that being married to an American, there's abuse. There's procedures that are ordered that shouldn't be done. There's tests that are ordered that shouldn't be done, like, because they just charge the
well,
insurance
yeah,
company, and.
yeah, because it's going to
Oh
be a
yeah, you have a broken toe. You need a you know I don't know, like,
you need an X-ray on that broken
you
toe.
need a no,
And
not even saying, you got a broken toe, let's make a MRI for your stomach, like, that's,
oh, that
it's
kind of thing.
irrelevant, yeah, because, yeah, it's abuse anyway.
Yeah.
So
Well,
let's bring in
yeah,
Jason.
yeah, I was going to say,
Oh,
because you kind of do know that ins and outs because of being married to an American. So good morning, Jason.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you both?
We are good.
we're
So for
great.
anybody that doesn't know Jason Pollock, who's with us on the third Monday of every month to talk about mental health. Jason's the manager of the Mental Health Promotion of Volunteers, CMHA Champlain East, and CMHA is Canadian Mental Health Association.
Mhm.
So we always have wonderful chats with Jason. And
And we're concerned about our mental health today because of all this privatization talk.
Right. Right. Well, and I think probably with good reason.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, you're in the mental health area. You're not in the hospital, in the OR, or in the
yeah,
ER, but
Mhm.
at the same time, it's money that's, like, if privatization happens, it's probably going to affect your line of work as well.
Well,
And
it certainly would, and I mean I can't claim to be an expert on this topic by any means, but certainly I have my concerns. And Julia, I was
Mhm.
listening in before you brought me into the studio, and I agree. The big concern is what we're facing right now in healthcare, and the same goes for mental health. It's a parallel sort of stream.
Mhm.
Is we have a staffing crisis, right?
hmm
The needs are far outstripping the supply of mental health care practitioners, as well as medical practitioners, and the fear, like, I understand the arguments for privatization, right? That oh well, it'll make more access available here and there and everywhere, but my concern is that it will widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots, because certainly it will be the people who can afford private insurance and private health care who will be
hmm
able to access privatized health care. And the people who won't, yeah, OHIP may still cover certain things, but the fear is, as you mentioned, that the money is better in private health care, and the working conditions will probably be better, and
hmm
so that's not going to resolve our staffing crisis. Like, this is the
Uh-uh.
problem, is that we're going to have clinics that'll open up, but this will strip away staff from public healthcare.
If
You know,
anything,
and
it will
private healthcare.
aggravate it. It
Yeah,
will
because I mean, I
aggravate
see
it
this.
more. Yeah.
I see this because I'm a registered social worker, right? And I see lots of social workers going into private practice. You know, myself included. I have a private practice, but that's just a part-time thing. But I see a lot of people, a lot of social workers, and a lot of psychologists, psychotherapists going into private practice because you get to choose your own schedule, you get to choose your own wages, you get to
Yep.
choose the people that you work with.
Mhm.
You know, and in the public system, you are often faced with a caseload that is ridiculous, that is way more than you can possibly manage effectively, and expectations that you will hit these certain numbers, and the quality of care is greatly diminished. And so a lot of
Mhm.
people are going into private practice, which of course the problem is that it's only the people who can afford to
Yeah.
see a private therapist who see a private therapist.
Yeah. And oftentimes, like, because we're talking about gaps, which is related to income, you know, and
Mhm.
oftentimes the low income people are the ones who need the most.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's just gonna exacerbate the whole
Well,
thing.
exactly. It becomes cyclical. The people, you're absolutely right. The people who most need the care are the people who generally, you know, live below or at the poverty line, you know, and
Hmm.
who therefore, by definition, you know, can't afford the care that is offered.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh well. Anyways, go vote on the 26th and 27th
Yeah.
of May, people. You need to, because
Voice
like
your
I said, a lot of
opinion.
people don't know what's happening. They don't know that this is slowly being, like, the rug
Yeah.
is slowly being pulled from underneath our feet,
Mhm.
and we're not even realizing that it's happening because it's being done very quietly. So we need to make some noise.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, you know, no one can argue that our healthcare system is in tatters. You know, both
Hmm.
medical and you know, mental health care as well. And part of that
Hmm.
has been the pandemic, and you know, stress and burnout. I'm not convinced that privatization is the answer. I don't see. I haven't seen it be deployed successfully in anywhere. You know,
Yeah.
it's successful for the people who can afford to access the care, but
Mm-hmm.
it
Exactly.
is detrimental. And of course, you know, I given the line of work that I'm in, you know, in public health, in public mental health care, I kind of side with the underdog on this one. You know, what about
Hmm.
the people who are falling through the cracks? I think privatization will lead to wider cracks and bigger cracks for people to fall through, and more people will fall through it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Especially in the mental health sector, for
Hmm.
sure, where
Yeah.
there's already a stigma about mental
Yes.
health. So this month we have a great issue about how to fight mental health stigma in the
Mhm.
seeker.
Mhm.
So every month we have an issue. So what exactly do we mean by mental health stigma, Jason?
Well, there seems to be, and I don't exactly know where this came from, but there seems to be a reluctance in our society. It's getting better. It's getting better. So I'm encouraged about this. But certainly in the past, there has been a reluctance to talk about mental health issues. Um, you know, because it's been sort of like a dirty little secret. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there people have had mental health problems, you know, since time began. You know, our parents, our grandparents, you know, had breakdowns and suffered from depression and had anxiety and all that, but it wasn't talked about for, I'm not sure, whatever reason. I think mental health issues were regarded in the past as a lack of moral fiber, as a personal failure. You know, so if you broke a leg or if you got cancer, no one would fault you for that. No one would
No.
say, well, you just needed to, you know, do this a little better, you know, or you just need to suck it up, or you just need to go out and take a brisk walk or something like that. But mental health problems, mental illnesses were viewed as personal weaknesses, I think,
Mm-hmm.
by a lot of people. And so if you had anxiety, you just, you know, you cried in your bedroom and then you put on a happy face and went out into the rest of the world and tried to convey this image of, I'm capable and I am successful and I'm this and that and the other thing. So that's the stigma, is that a lot of people are embarrassed by having mental health problems, mental health issues. Seeking help for mental health is embarrassing for a lot of people. And, it shouldn't be that way. It doesn't need to be that way. If you had diabetes, you wouldn't be ashamed going to pick up your insulin, or at least I don't think you would be. I don't have diabetes, so maybe that's an ignorant statement, but I wouldn't think I would be embarrassed about having diabetes.
Can I relate something?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Mai-Liis.
No, I was just going to say that my youngest son is type 1 diabetic. And again, there's no shame in that, because
Right.
like you say, you go pick up your medication and you get treatment, whereas mental health is a total different thing. What were you going to say, Julia?
I was going to say, so my first husband had a sister who was, she had schizophrenia. And she was in an institution, like she was an institution. It was a private institution, but still, and the father, my ex-husband's father, was a general manager of a big hotel in Montreal, very prominent member of society. And I remember she was hidden, like she was hidden from the rest of the family. Nobody ever talked about her. Like if her name came, it was in shame. Like it was such a weird thing to see.
Yeah, no, it's people are treated, are segregated and, cast away because of this. And I think that mostly has to do with our own discomfort around mental health issues, because people who suffer from mental health problems, they don't necessarily behave in ways that we are used to. They don't even necessarily behave in ways that are socially acceptable. Their thinking patterns may be different. Their ways of expressing themselves may be very different. And we have what is the mainstream, what we're used to, what we all acknowledge as socially acceptable behaviors and socially acceptable words and deeds. And people who suffer from mental illness don't necessarily ascribe to that particular pattern. That's not the way. Well, exactly. They don't fit in that box. And that can make people deeply uncomfortable. And it has to do with our own insecurities. Right? We're used to what we're used to, and help us if somebody deviates from that.
Yeah.
So
we have a reader. It says, one of my doctors told me to compare my recurring depression as a diabetic who needs insulin. The depressive needs the medication to balance our feelings and issues. Exactly. And the same thing happened to me.
Absolutely. I mean, depression. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Julia.
Yeah, no, I had one bout of major depression when I was younger, and actually checked myself into the Douglas Hospital in Montreal, and I was refusing to take medication because I was under the impression that I should be enough. Like I should be able to control this, right? I should just kick myself in the butt and get out of it. And a young girl, actually, I was in church, and this young girl came to me and she told me exactly that. If you were diabetic, you would go and take medication. You need medication to get your neurons firing again. So I did get on medication. I was on it for not too long, and it did the job. It did what it needed to do.
Absolutely. And no diabetic would sit there and say, if I just think really hard, I will be able to eat whatever I want, whenever I want. Like no diabetic would think that. So I like that analogy, but once again, there's that stigma. Now I speak as a man. I don't speak for all men, but I think the stigma to be, sort of macho, and men don't have feelings and men don't express feelings. Especially, it's okay for men to express anger and maybe a little bit of happiness, but not too much. But certainly sadness and fear, don't express that. I was diagnosed with a major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder when I was 25, and I felt like a failure. I felt like it was something that I had done wrong. And it's because I was denying my feelings. I wasn't allowing myself to feel them. And I was just trying to be successful. I was trying to be strong. I was trying to be normal. And I am anything but, and so some of it comes around to acknowledging that, okay, I have this condition and it is caused by, the neurochemistry in my brain. And I am no more to blame for that than I would be if I had diabetes or if I had leukemia or something like that. There needs to be no more shame attached to that.
And it's funny what you're saying about, not expressing your feelings and not being allowed to be mad or be mad is okay, but not to be allowed to be sad or crying because it's actually part of the issue. A lot of the reasons why we get depressed is all these feelings that we repress.
Yeah.
So, you spend years repressing your anger, repressing your sadness, repressing, like, feelings are meant to be lived. You're supposed to, spend an hour crying if you need to.
Yeah.
But we're told, especially men, no, you cannot cry. You're not, you're not strong if you cry.
And this is indicated by if someone ever sheds a tear in front of you, what is the thing they invariably say? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for crying. I'm sorry for burdening you with, my feelings, right? That's what that I'm sorry is. And I don't know why, we all do it, but why are we sorry for tears? Why are we sorry for being scared? I don't think there's any need to be. So my hope is that, society is slowly shifting in the direction of, feelings just are what they are. But certainly, I think a lot of the repression and a lot of the denial, of who or what we are, can cause great mental health strains.
Yeah.
Well, because what happens, like you were saying, you suppress, and eventually it's got to come out somehow.
It's got to come out somewhere.
Yeah. And then you spiral down to a major depression that you can't get out of because,
That's it. The greatest liberty we can have is just living true to ourselves and, seeking our own fulfillment and happiness. That's the meaning of life. If anybody asks, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, on the article that we have in The Seeker, there's a little table, and it's got outdated terms, which there's a lot of them. Like, mental health disorders is what it used to be, but now it's called mental health issues, conditions, or illnesses. Because really, it is an illness, like we were talking about. So what are the other outdated terms that people use that now there should be different ways of looking at it?
Well, people say, I am depressed, and there's a shift in the language to, I have depression. Instead of identifying yourself as, I am depressed, this is my label. You would never say, I am cancer, right? Or I am diabetes, right? You would say, I have, I suffer from, I deal with. So there's a shift in language that is moving away from identifying the whole person with the issue. The other thing too is disorder. In many cases, is an outdated term. We're going to keep using it for a while because, just in the DSM, it's disorder. It implies that the person is wrong, right? So you look at someone with ADD, which stands for attention deficit disorder. Disorder implies a lack of order.
You're wrong.
That you're broken.
You're flawed.
Exactly. People who have ADD are just different. They filter things differently. They interpret things differently. They experience things differently than your average human being. But it's not a disorder. We call a disorder something that deviates from the normal, right? Which is why all of us grow up feeling that insecurity of I gotta, I gotta have the same clothes as all my schoolmates are wearing, and my son is 6, and right now lunchbox envy is a thing. Like if you don't have like the latest snacks, there's
Oh
pressure to
my.
conform.
Yeah.
Which has never done anybody any good, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's why we're moving away from disorder.
That's
What
it.
other terms are in that chart?
You've got you've got mental illness was what it was, and
Mhm.
now we've got a mental illness, or rather specific disorder, rather than generalized by using the term mental illness to capture all
Mhm.
mental illnesses. Like there's different forms, so that's one of
Yeah.
them. Mentally ill person, someone who is bipolar, is an
Mhm.
old way of saying it, but now there's a new way. Patient, client, addict,
Yeah.
substance abuser. That's like all the old ways of saying things.
So
So what are
I
the new
like
ones?
the addict one, because that like, if you say I'm an addict, it really defines the person,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It shouldn't, because the addiction is not the person. So the new way is he or she has a substance use condition,
Yeah.
or she has lived experience of substance use.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
It's
you know,
because I think for right or wrong, mental health and mental illness has been treated very much by using the medical model. You are either healthy or you're not.
mhm.
And so when we call things a mental illness, or when we say someone is mentally ill, like, so by that definition, I have a mental illness. I'm mentally ill. I don't identify as mentally ill. I
Mhm.
identify as someone who struggles with depression and, mood issues, sure. But, when we say someone is mentally ill, there is an image that comes up, right? They're in an institution, or they're
yep,
perhaps living on the street. They can't hold down a job. They can't hold down a relationship. There's this whole torrent of images that come up with saying someone is an addict or is an alcoholic or mentally ill. We think we know what those people are. And those people who suffer from mental health struggles, they're you and I.
yep,
They are your
Yeah.
listeners. They are people in
Yeah.
the highest echelons of government. They
yep.
are the most famous people standing up and accepting Oscars. We all have mental health struggles, some diagnosed and some not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when you like, though, like you were saying, though, you paint this picture of what the person is supposed to look like, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not at all what it
No.
is.
No.
And it feels like it would be like, if you say I'm an addict, it almost feels doomed for recovery,
Yep.
like you,
Yeah.
I'm an addict,
Yeah.
I've got no
Yeah.
hope.
right?
Yeah, and
Negative.
I know I've done some work in the 12-step world,
Hmm.
and certainly most people will identify themselves. Hi, my name is so and so, and I am an alcoholic, or I am an addict. And for a lot of people, being able to claim that label is actually liberating,
Hmm.
because they'll say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I am, and there's no shame in that. So there is a possibility of taking that term and making it empowering. But for a lot of people, you're absolutely right. It sounds damning. It sounds dooming. It
Hmm.
sounds like a death sentence almost.
It,
You know.
I guess it's a very personal
Yeah,
thing with
yeah, I
them.
think it
Yeah.
is. And for a lot of people, the term mental illness is probably not offensive or problematic. But certainly recently I've noticed there are certain contexts that I read it in where I'm just sort of like, mental illness. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Mental health challenges, perhaps, or issues, but
Yeah.
ill means sick,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
sick
Exactly.
means bad or wrong, so it's
Not right.
yeah, not right. So that's why the language is shifting, because the
Yep.
perceptions are shifting around what the heck is healthy and what the heck is ill anyways, right? How do we define that?
Would you say that the normal is shifting too? Because there is more and more talk of like more and more people. Like I know probably two hands full of people who are living with ADHD who
Mhm.
Yep.
actually have been diagnosed much later in life because,
Yep.
it was not a thing back then. And
Mhm.
they're realizing, hey, this is what I have. That thing that I do, it has a name and
Yeah.
it's ADHD. And now I understand, which is great because then when you put the name on it, you can kind of, figure out, okay, that's what I'm struggling with. Um, so
And
yeah,
well,
would
yeah,
you
and,
say that like a majority of the population is at some point or another struggling with mental um, issues in their lives?
I think everybody does,
Hmm.
I mean, mental health and mental illness is a spectrum. It's a continuum. We all have mental health,
mhm.
and we all have various degrees to which our mental health uh, diminishes, and for some people, like if you have a loved one that dies, right? You may feel sad. You may feel sad for a very long time, and you may feel overwhelmingly sad, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Someone who might suffer from mental health challenges might feel sad for no particular reason that they can identify, right? So, I mean, everybody struggles with their mental wellness because our mental wellness it doesn't stay up all the time,
No.
and and personally, I think this is where a lot of substance abuse problems come from, is that for some reason we think we should be up here all the time. We
Mhm.
should be happy. And if we feel sad, we're just like, I'm going to take something to make me
Self-medicating.
feel better. It's
Yep.
self-medicating,
Yeah.
when in reality, I'm not saying I enjoy being sad, but if something sad happens in your life, sadness is the appropriate response to that. And
Yep.
Yeah.
and we need to find better ways to embrace and integrate all of those feelings, rather, and some people make the argument, well, what about medication that you get from a doctor, doesn't that make you feel better? And I disagree with that. Like, people will say, well, isn't that just like taking, smoking pot or drinking alcohol to feel better? And I don't think that is the case, because prescribed medication aims at reestablishing and reordering the neurotransmitters. They don't make you feel high,
Yeah.
they just let you able to function a little more normally.
Mhm.
Right. Right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jason,
Wow.
for being with us today. We'll see you in a month. Have a great month.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I will be engaging in some mental health care. My wife and I have booked our first trip since the pandemic
Oh,
in
wow.
Oh, yeah.
April.
Lovely.
So, yeah, we're going someplace sunny. So we're looking
Uh,
forward to that. And
awesome.
that's another. Just on a closing note, self care is super important in
Yes, sir.
maintaining our mental health. And we do not think twice about sitting down and eating a meal, because that restores our body. But think about doing some self care. Whatever charges your battery, make that an essential part of your day, because
Well,
Right.
that's how we maintain things.
yeah, well, definitely going and being out in a sunny place somewhere is important.
That
And
will
today,
help.
just the sun streaming in is something that's
Yes.
helping too. So
Yep.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a change of mood. Absolutely.
Yeah. All
Exactly.
right, Jason. Have a great day.
Thanks so
Thank
much for having me.
you.
We'll see you in a
Yeah.
month.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Speaking of the sun, I came to turn on my light. My light switch is like right at the window, so
Yeah.
I go and turn my light. And woo! I was blinded by the sun. Like it was
Well,
crazy.
I'm kind of sitting, yet you can kind of see me adjusting because the sun is beaming through the window and it feels so good, but it's
Yeah.
kind of playing havoc with my face. So if my face is half dark or whatever, so be it today. I'm enjoying the sunshine. And that's all it takes sometimes. And I keep telling you that too, when you have like a down day, and
Yeah.
just open the door and just stand in the fresh air and the sun. Lucky
You
him
know what
though,
else is
going
good? What?
what?
No, go
Well,
ahead.
I was going to say, lucky him going down south. So many people
Yeah.
are putting out their pictures, and
Yeah.
here we are,
Yeah.
still snow, but But what else is good? Are you talking
So what
about?
else is good? Snacks. And today we are.
You have the whole thing.
Um,
I just have a few in a bag. You can
oh,
show your bag. So it's from Happy Popcorn on Pitt Street, called Dreamsicle. So I was dropping off some seekers
it's
and Bill.
is it sickle? Because it looks like dream sick. Looks
Dreamsicle. I think it's sickle. SIC.
dream. Oh,
No,
okay.
it's Dreamsicle. So because I asked Bill what was in it this morning, and he said in the Dreamsicle. So I
Okay.
dropped off. This is one of their newest flavors. I dropped off some seekers, and Bill handed me this and said, "You got to try it." So
So
we have,
dreamsicle, I'm expecting orange and vanilla.
uh-huh. So actually, I know what's in it because I asked him this
Tell-
morning. So let's try it and see if that's what it is.
Okay. Let's see.
So what are you going to do?
So
Put them
dream,
all
a
together in
dream,
your mouth?
yeah. A dreamsicle is like a orange and vanilla bar, like a ice cream bar.
So we
Okay.
have orange, green, and red.
Okay. I got a whole bunch here, and I'm gonna try them all. One, two, three. Hmm.
You kind of get that burst at the end after you've chewed it and it's come
Yeah.
together. So
I'm
we
gonna
have,
take another bite. Go
of
ahead.
course, so
While I
in there we have orange, red cherry, blue raspberry popcorn, and it is infused with birthday cake vanilla flavor. So you were right about, the cherry and the orange and the vanilla.
it's really good.
It is. Are you
Yeah.
still eating?
I think
Are you eating them all together though, or separately
yeah. I was
right now?
getting them all together, but I'm thinking of taking the orange
Uh-huh.
and see if it tastes like a creamsicle. Yeah.
Does it?
I'm thinking the dreamsicle bars come in different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of the orange and vanilla, but I do think they come in cherry and vanilla too. So it explains the mixture. There's, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be
It
a
is.
great little snack for a movie.
It is good, but I just find when you put it all together and you seem to get that burst at one point. It's good. I'm
Hmm.
not. I have to say, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of popcorn, but it's very good. So head down to Happy Popcorn and pick yourself up a bag and watch a movie.
You're not a huge fan of popcorn?
I'm
I
not.
love popcorn.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do like the savory flavors.
I love them all. Like, is there anything that's not good at that place? Like, really, we've tasted, I don't know, so many
I
flavors over the years,
know. I know.
and they're all like amazing. Like, just like I love them. My go-to is the dill pickle. My kids too, they love the dill pickle. So when my tail comes to town, we usually take a stroll to Happy Popcorn, go get our popcorn for the movie night, and um, yeah,
I'm just checking because we do have every month we've been introducing their kernels.
yeah,
So there's so many different people that work at Happy Popcorn, and a lot of them have I don't know what the real word
disabilities,
is. They have
disabilities,
what they have what?
disabilities.
Disabilities. Yeah, I didn't want to say the word wrong. And they're employed at Happy Popcorn. So this one actually is the owner's daughter, Delilah. And we always have the favorite flavors. Her favorite is cheddar popcorn, or
Oh yeah,
she loves any sour candy too. I mean, they don't just have popcorn, they have all kinds of
all sorts of
candy,
candy. That's
all kinds of retro drinks, all kinds of everything. So head
hmm
on down there.
ice cream in the summer, maybe in the winter too. I'm not sure,
Oh
but in
yes,
the
the
summer,
ice cream.
yeah, it's a great place. You can get lost in Candyland at the Happy
Yeah,
Corn for sure.
yeah.
All right, what's happening this week, My-Liis? Got stuff happening this week?
So we have Wednesday, March 22nd, which is this Wednesday from 5 to 9. Welcome Spring Downtown. And the tagline is "Let's shake off the winter together." So basically, you can go shopping from 5 to 9 and check out all the stores, all the new clothes, all the new beauty products and stuff downtown Cornwall. Friday, March 24th, this Friday at Carrots and Dates, we have some live music with Katie Ditchin from 6 to 8. And we made it. It's spring. Come out for live music as the tagline. So that'll be nice. And also, I believe at Carrots and Dates on Saturday, March 25th, there's a book release with author
Okay.
J.P. Mayer. It's the book is called A Peculiar Case. So that'll be interesting too. The book releases between 2 and 4 at Carrots and Dates.
Okay.
Going at the Klein House Gallery, one of my all-time favorite places, till April 1st. We've got The World is a Camera. It's an exhibition with Françoise Desjardins and Jessica Sarrazin. So they've got some awesome photographs on the walls and pieces of artwork. And the big Spring Fling Artisan Market with We Three Girls and Co. is on this Saturday, March 25th, at the second level, the old Sears at
Oh,
Cornwall.
great.
So that is
Awesome.
over 100 vendors. That's
Yeah.
always a huge event. So head on
Speaking
down.
of spring, I want to say that yesterday I went yesterday morning when I got up, I went and did my errands. It was pretty nice outside.
Mhm.
So I go into a few places and then I go to Food Basic, and I went into Food Basic and it was spring, and I came out and it was full blown blizzard. Did you
Yeah,
see
I know.
was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Like unreal. Like it was totally pretty, beautiful spring, and I come out and it's like, whoa.
Well, it was the same thing on Friday. We were DJing out in Finch. So
Hmm.
all evening it was okay. And then Sheldon goes down, starts loading the car, and he goes, "It's a full blown blizzard out there."
Oh
I
my
said, I
God.
went down 2 seconds later. I said, "Where? There's nothing." He says, it just came like you. It just like phew, came in.
Yeah, it was insane.
Everything
I couldn't
was,
even see in front of me.
that's what he said too. It was just complete whiteout. And then 2 seconds later, I go down. It's like there's nothing
It was
even on the
gone.
ground.
Like
It was gone.
mine lasted a good 15 minutes, but still, you know,
Wow.
it was crazy.
Well,
Oh,
we're
I sure hope we're done with Mother Nature. Cause like, oh
mm,
gosh,
you're not going to
you
want
think
to
we're gonna have
hear.
more,
You're
more
not going to
snow?
what? Well, I don't know. We still got enough, but we were talking to my aunt and uncle in England yesterday, and they're planting all their spring flowers right now. The
Oh,
tulips, everything's coming up. But my mom's tulips are this high out of the ground already.
yeah. I don't know, man. I'm thinking that like the ground must be so confused. We've gone through so many freezes and thaws this
Yeah,
year. You know, like it's freezing and then it's
yeah.
spring and then it's freezing again and then it's spring. Like I mean, the trees must be so confused.
Well, what's confused is more than the trees is we were driving back from the property the other day, and there's a field full of geese. They're just like sitting there. And Sheldon goes,
Should we go
they,
north or
yeah,
south?
yeah. He says they're probably going, do we go back? Do we stay? What do we do? It was just plastered with these geese just sitting in the middle of a field, having no
Yeah,
clue what's going on.
what's
It
going
was,
on? Where do we go?
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, it was so
all right,
funny.
guys. Well, that's it for us for today. We hope that you enjoy your week. We'll see you next week. Have yourself a great day.
Super duper week. And remember, April Seeker is in production right now. So if you got anything, send it to info@theseeker.ca. You have till Friday.
Oh,
What?
and I want to say a note about the nominations for the Seeker's Choice Award.
Yes.
So there's a glitch with our form. So what's going to
Yep.
happen is I'm sorting out the issue with the company that we were dealing with. And as soon as they're back up, we're going to put the form back up. You'll have until the end of March to submit your nomination. We're going to make up for the time that we lost because it's been down since Friday.
It
So
has.
look for it and nominate your best um, companies, people, athletes, volunteers, you name it, artists, and then the voting period will ensue. So have yourself a great week.
Super duper day.
Bye.
Bye.